Hi, I'm Susanna Bowling, and this is the Times Square Chronicles, and we are in the Cafe Carlyle with Hal Linden.
Cafe Carlyle.
How does it
Iconic
feel?
place, huh?
It is an iconic place. How does it feel to be back to your roots and singing in New York?
Well, the Cafe Carlyle is hardly my roots. My roots were the Bronx, New York. Cafe Carlyle was where Bobby Short played. You know, the cafe, that slightly intimidating place here. How does it feel to be back in New York? How does it feel to be back singing?
Yes.
That's actually, I've been doing it all year. In preparation for this date, or not in preparation, but before this date, we toured the entire country, coast to coast, north to south, North Dakota to Mississippi, Delaware to California.
Now, your roots are in big band. Can you talk about that?
Well, actually, that's one of the things I do here. My roots are indeed big band. I was a saxophone. I played all the saxes and clarinet, flute. I was actually classically trained clarinet player. I was going to be a symphonic clarinet player till the age of puberty. That's when I discovered that more girls went to concerts, to dances, than went to concerts. So I started playing the saxophone, and that finished me as a symphonic clarinet player. But roots indeed, the big band.
Now, you did an album in 2011 with big band and jazz. Is that what we're going to be hearing at the Carlyle?
Some of this, some of that. It's a long career. I got a lot of choice of what to play. What you heard on the album, and it's only some of it, was an attempt, I don't know, 20 years ago, to do contemporary songs with a big band feel. So there are 4 cuts on the album like that, which gives the album a real eclectic quality, because some of it was done in a studio with a whole different sound, and some of it was done with a trio, so it's a totally different sound. So there's a lot of different things on the album. But the big bands were what I wanted to do, was my ambition. Unfortunately, the big band era ended.
Well, it may be coming back with After Midnight.
Okay.
If you had to choose a song from that era that told us who Hal Linden was, what song would that be?
Oh, my Lord. That's it. I'd have to think about it. I'm not even too sure. I could tell you the first song I sang as a singer.
Sure.
Because I was a musician. I had my own little band, and I said, I'm going to sing this song, and I sang, it was This Love of Mine from the Sinatra song. Yeah.
Now, most people don't know, but you actually, before you did the Rothschilds, were in Bells Are Ringing. You also were in Cabaret.
One is before, one
What
is
is
after. Bells Are Ringing was my first Broadway show, and it was an immense piece of luck. I was going with a girl who was a dancer in Bells Are Ringing, and I was in summer stock, somewhere way the hell up. And there was an opening for the understudy, and she convinced the stage manager to give me to let me audition. Now, understand, I didn't even have an agent. I was just brand new in the business. So I got the opportunity through her to go in and sing for the stage manager, who let me sing for the casting director, who let me sing for, I don't remember how many times I auditioned, but I got that job. I was in rehearsal 1 week, and then following, I started on Monday. On Saturday afternoon, Asian Flu that was the original Asian Flu, put Sydney out of business. And I made my Broadway debut and eventually acceded to the part opposite Judy. So that was a big, one of the first lucky breaks.
Now, besides working with Judy Holliday, you also worked with Lucille Ball in Wildcat. Can you talk about that one?
Well, I knew Lucy before that. Lucy had come to see me in California, do Bells Are Ringing, and she was very high on me as a potential, I guess. She had the studio searched. We had long discussions about what I was going to do. That's when she got involved with the Desilu Review.
Right.
And I had too much of a reputation. She said, it's not for you. My wife was in it. By the way, the girl who got me the audition.
Oh,
I
became your wife.
Yes, of 52 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'd met Lucy, and we had talked about all kinds of possibilities, and nothing just kind of ever came of it. So I went back to New York to kind of start over on Broadway. When Lucy came to town, and I got the job in it, I said, "Hey, look who's here." Lucy was, I don't have to tell you, cinematically. Look at pre-Lucy, pre-I Love Lucy. See her in the 30s as the comedic,
Comic soubrette.
the soubrette, the best. So it was no surprise that she could come up with I Love Lucy. Broadway was not her métier.
Right.
Her Broadway debut was may have been a debut. I don't know if she had it.
It was her Broadway too.
It was Wildcat. Was not very successful, and
It's a shame because the score is really wonderful.
score is pretty good. It had a lot of book troubles. It really wasn't. Well, anyway, the point is, it was not the big smash it was supposed to be.
Can you talk a little bit about the Rothschilds, how you got it? Did it change your life?
Oh.
And what did it mean to play that role?
Well, first of all, the Rothschilds 1970. I met Sheldon Harnick in 1963 when Sheldon was courting Marjorie Gray.
Oh.
That's right. They're also married. They were married not too much later than us, so they're still married. Sheldon was courting Margie. Margie was in Anything Goes off Broadway with me. So Sheldon saw the second act of Anything Goes 100 times every time he'd come down to pick up Margie, and that's when we became friendly. And after that, he was a kind of a fan, so I auditioned for every Harnick and Bach play. I never got any till I did replace in Apple Tree. But Sheldon, when they were putting the Rothschilds together, he said, "This one is for you," and he was right. And it was, of course, an immense moment in my career and in my life.
You got to sing one of the most iconic and romantic songs about a country and about a person. When you got when you got to sing In My Own Lifetime, did it change you?
You know, that was added in Detroit. I did very well in the piece, but the character died very early.
Right.
And that's one of the problems with the show, is that the character that you've been following all of a sudden dies. So they kept me alive later and later and later and later. And one of the things they did was, I remember distinctly, I was down on the terrace or the pool of the hotel in Detroit when out the window, Jerry Bach said, "Come on up, I want to play you something." And I went upstairs and they played me In My Own Lifetime, which they wrote for me. Now, have a song written by Harnick and Bach for you. What does that mean?
A lot.
For someone, who's a theater freak, a theater buff is not the word. My life was more on stage than off. To have that happen. It was the first of two songs, because they added another song later on, early on in the show, that was written specifically for me. Coins, the big fair number. Yeah. Those are experiences you don't give up. That'll last your life.
Perfect. Can you tell us when you're playing at the Carlyle?
Carlyle, Tuesday, May 20th through the 24th, right here in this room. 7 musicians. This is going to be kind of something getting them in here, because I do evoke the big band era, and we do a big band number. So it'll be a little something different for the Carlyle, I expect. A little more presence. Be a lot of sounds here.
Perfect. We look forward to seeing you and reviewing you. Have a great run.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.